Listen up. It's time to wake up and take control of your life instead of letting that snake lying next to you make the decisions for you. You've been living in her fantasy world, thinking that giving a woman everything she wants is the way to her heart. But let me tell you something. Women will never respect you if you don't respect yourself. Women can sense when a man is weak, and they will drain you of your self-respect, your dignity, and your wallet faster than you can imagine. They will drain you until they find their next victim, leaving you only with your pants on. It's time to stop being a doormat and start taking actions that will make you a high-value man. Action 1. Don't compliment her looks. Many men make the mistake of showering women with compliments, especially about their looks. They believe that by doing this, women will find them attractive and want to be with them. But the truth is, constantly complimenting a woman's looks can actually backfire. When you give a woman too many compliments, it can come off as desperate or fake. It can also make you feel like you're only interested in her for her physical appearance, which can be very shallow and unattractive. You don't want to be just another guy who's simping or trying too hard to please a woman. Instead, only compliment her when she does something and she does it right. This will show her that you're paying attention to who she is as a person and not just her appearance. Leave her to wonder why everyone sees her as a big deal and you don't. I once knew a guy who shall remain nameless. He took it upon himself to compliment his crush over and over. He practically showered her with gifts, compliments, and asked for hugs. Result: heartache and drowning in booze. Seated on the pavement and crying to himself, saying, "Why does no one like me?" Yikes. Guess who that girl chose instead? The guy she never spoke to, the guy who barely gave her attention and waited for just the right moment. The guy who didn't compliment her looks like it's a game of Pac-Man points. Instead, he drew her in subtly while focusing on himself, and they've now been together for 4 years and counting. Remember, actions speak louder than words. Focus on building a connection with her based on who she is as a person, and not just her looks. This will make you stand out from the crowd and show her that you are a high-value man who doesn't need to rely on superficial compliments to win her over. Feed her ego and she'll use it against you. When you don't, sooner or later you might want to go to the pharmacy and make a purchase. Action 2. Never ask for commitment. This is a pull-away move that is mental. When you don't ask for commitment, it shows that you have a life of your own and you're not trying to latch onto her. You know how to act in speech, over the phone, or face-to-face, and you're not giving her any indication of what you want with her. This breaks her ego and puts you in a position of power. Action 3. Do not seek her validation. Seeking a woman's validation is a common mistake that many men make. They buy compliments or seek the approval of their crushes in hopes of feeling like they have a chance with them. However, this only builds up her ego and gives her the upper hand. Instead, you should focus on your own self-validation and building up your own ego so that you are in a position of power. Combining these two actions, is important to remember that a woman's validation and commitment are not the key to your happiness or success. When you seek validation from a woman, you're giving her power over you. And when you ask for commitment, you are putting pressure on her to make a decision. By not seeking validation or asking for commitment, you're taking control of the situation and showing her that you have your own life to lead. When you don't ask for her commitment, it's not because you don't want her. It's because you feel confident enough in yourself and your own life that you don't need her to make you feel complete. This puts you in a position of power, and it makes you feel like she has to work to win you over. Similarly, when you don't seek her validation, you're building up your own self-esteem and confidence. You don't need to tell her that you're good enough or that you're worthy. You know your own worth, and you don't need her approval to feel good about yourself. This puts you in a position of power and makes her feel like she has to work to win your approval. Look at other women. You might think this is counterintuitive, but it's a powerful move that can break women's ego and put you in a position of power. When you take glances at other women, it creates a notion in her mind that she's not the only option, and that you have others as well. She'll realize that she can't take you for granted and that she needs to work to keep your attention. But looking at other women isn't enough. You also need to dress well and put in effort to your appearance. This not only makes you look good, but also sends a message to her that you are a high-value man who takes care of himself. It shows that you have opinions and that you're not afraid to explore them. By dressing well and smelling good, you're putting your best foot forward and presenting yourself in the best possible way. This will attract more women to you, and it will make your current partner more interested in you. She will know that you're a good-looking man who takes care of himself, and you're not going to settle for just anyone. In addition to looking your best, you also need to make sure that you're not putting all the power in her hands. Don't let her make all the decisions, and don't let her take advantage of you. It's important that you establish yourself as a high-value man who has his own life and his own goals. By doing this, you're creating a situation where she needs to work to keep your attention, rather than the other way around. On the other hand, remember, it's a two-way street. If she wants to be with you, she needs to put in the effort to make that happen. By looking your best and not being afraid to explore other options, you're sending the message that you are a man of high value and self-respect who won't settle for anything less than the best. These actions are not just for the sake of breaking a woman's ego. They're also about building yourself up and becoming the best version of you. It's about not letting someone else control your life or emotions, and instead taking charge and being in a position of power. When you focus on your own self-validation and becoming the best version of yourself, you become irresistible, and you attract the right people into your life. So, don't settle for less than you deserve. Don't let anyone control your life or your emotions. Be that high-value man that you're capable of being. And don't be afraid to take back that power and put yourself in the driver's seat. Remember, it's a two-way street. She should work just as hard as you do. Don't be afraid to be confident, to take risks, and to put yourself out there. Watch as your life changes for the better. If you want to make a good impression, learn to make natural eye contact. Practice this by looking into her eyes when you're talking or listening, and then casually glance away every few seconds. Keep it casual, relaxed. You don't want to keep your gaze too intense. Remember, you're not a vampire, you're not trying to hypnotize her. Maintaining a balance between eye contact and looking away shows that you're confident and genuinely interested in her, while still respecting her personal space. If you're in a group setting, spread your attention evenly across the room. Let her notice that you're there without making her feel like she's under surveillance. Mistake 2, looking unhygienic. The second mistake you're making as an older guy trying to impress younger women is looking unhygienic. Yes, I said it. You might look like a walking health hazard, and the last thing she wants is a health hazard of a partner. Just because you have a few more years under your belt doesn't mean you get a pass on basic hygiene and grooming. In fact, it actually makes it more crucial. Yeah, Thomas, this guy I knew, was the embodiment of a mistake number 2. He had this terrible habit of neglecting his hygiene, and it caused him a world of trouble when it came to attracting younger women. Thomas was often seen wearing the same worn-out clothes, and he rarely groomed himself. His hair was greasy, and his beard looked like it hadn't been touched in weeks. It wasn't just the way he looked either. His smell was unbearable. It seemed as if he hadn't discovered the magical existence of a deodorant. Despite being a genuinely nice guy, Thomas couldn't understand why he couldn't attract the attention of younger women. They were always turned off by his appearance, and they would avoid him at all costs. As much as Thomas tried to engage them in conversation, it did not take long for them to find an excuse to not be having a conversation with him. Ask yourself these questions. Do you look like you just crawled out of bed? Does your hair resemble a bird's nest? Are you rocking an unkempt beard that looks like it houses a family of squirrels? If you answered yes to any of these, you need a little bit of an overhaul. No, scratch that, a serious overhaul. And don't get me started on odor. Nobody, especially a younger woman, wants to be near somebody who smells like they haven't showered in days. First impressions are vital, so invest time and effort into your appearance. Shower daily, use deodorant, and groom yourself. Comb your hair, trim your facial hair, wear clean, ironed-out clothes, wear spandex, whatever makes you comfortable. Get a haircut that suits your face and your age. No one wants to see a balding guy sport a teenage hairstyle. It's like seeing a hefty girl wear clothing that's too tight. It's not right. It's time to embrace your maturity and look the part. And remember, looking good doesn't mean trying to dress like a 20-year-old. Dressing age appropriately is essential, and it'll showcase your confidence in who you are. Just make sure you look sharp, clean, well-groomed, because that's what's going to make a lasting impression. So, get your act together and start looking the part. Don't let poor hygiene be the reason that she runs for the hills. Listen, by watching these videos, I know you aren't one of those losers who think they already know everything. Even if you've only watched one video on this channel, you still clicked on it, and that shows that you have a fire inside of you to start improving. You already showed the willpower. The only thing you need is a path. I've put down 10 modules which you can see as ladders. Every module or ladder will exactly explain to you step by step how to get to the top. From achieving peak masculinity, advanced testosterone optimization, getting women, mastering the game of exchanging value, to actual money-making methods, and even more. I have literally laid the groundwork for you to become jacked, attractive, rich, and of high social status. You don't lack motivation. You just lack the knowledge and trust in the path that you're taking. You can continue messing around in the never-ending cycle of taking paths that lead to nothing, or click the link in the description down below. Mistake number 3, aggressive smiling and laughing. The third mistake you're making that scares younger women away is having an aggressive approach to smiling and laughing. Sure, showing your pearly old whites can be attractive, but there's a fine line between a warm, genuine smile and a creepy, intense grin. If your smile's always on display, regardless of the situation, it becomes disingenuous and borderline creepy. No woman, young or old, wants to be around someone who seems fake or insincere. What about your laugh? You might think that having a boisterous, loud laugh will show your sense of humor and attract younger women, but again, there's a difference between a hearty, genuine laugh and a forced, obnoxious, obviously fake one. Exaggerating your laughter can be off-putting and even intimidating. And if you're focusing on exaggerating your laughter, then you're not focusing on what's funny. Trust me, she doesn't want to be with a guy who sounds like he's laughing at his own jokes just to fill the silence. Instead, aim for a neutral, natural, authentic smile and laugh. Be genuinely present in the conversation and just let your emotions and reactions come organically, again, from what's being talked about. Listen to her, engage with her, and let your own smile and your own laughter flow when it's warranted. If it feels natural, there's nothing better. You don't have to force a laugh just to seem like the life of the party. She'll appreciate the sincerity and the genuine connection much more than a fake, aggressive display of emotions. Aggressively laughing is a funny sentiment in general, but yeah. So, ditch the aggressive smiling and laughing. Focus on being authentic, being a you. Be genuine in those interactions and she'll notice the difference. It'll make you stand out from the sea of fake, overbearing older guys who are just trying too hard to impress her. Mistake 4, making the conversation way too sexual, way too quick. The final mistake that you're making scaring younger women away is turning the conversation sexual too quickly. Look, I get it. You might feel an intense attraction to her and think that just showing off your sexual prowess will impress her. But trust me, diving headfirst into explicit topics ain't the way to anybody's heart. Any woman's heart. In fact, it'll most likely make her feel uncomfortable and question your intentions. Being an older guy, you should have learned by now that building a genuine connection with somebody takes time, effort, and emotional investment. A young woman isn't just going to throw herself at you because you're talking about sex. She wants to know that you genuinely care about who she is, what she's interested in, and that you can be a supportive, positive force in her life. And you won't be able to accomplish that if you're constantly making lewd comments or steering the conversation towards the bedroom. Instead, focus on building a genuine, non-sexual connection first. Show her that you're genuinely interested in getting to know her, her dreams, her passions, her fears. Be patient and let that sexual chemistry develop naturally. By doing this, not only will you demonstrate that you have more to offer than just your bedroom skills, but you'll also establish a foundation of trust and emotional intimacy that's crucial for a lasting, meaningful relationship. So, resist the urge to make the conversation overtly sexual from the get-go, and focus on building a connection that lets that sexual tension build naturally over time. Oddly enough, caring and just being a nice, charismatic, like, hey, how's it going, can be equally sexy as, actually much sexier than somebody just being like, hey, yeah, I want to spread your legs open like a taco. Remember, younger women are looking for more than just a guy who's good in bed. They want a man who genuinely cares for them and is willing to invest time and effort into building a relationship that's real. It's truly special. All right, let's cut the crap and get down to business, right? If you want to avoid scaring younger women away, you need to stop making these rookie mistakes. No one cares if you're older. It doesn't automatically make you attractive. You gotta step up your game and prove that you're worth their time. You know what I mean? You a worthwhile kind of homie. Ditch the creepy staring, take care of your hygiene, and stop with the over-the-top laughter and smiling, and for the love of God, don't make the conversation sexual right off the bat. It's not classy, it's creepy, nobody wants it, and it's a surefire way to get rejected. If you want to succeed with younger women, you need to show them that you're more than just a desperate older guy trying to get some young tail. Your age and experience might give you an edge, but only if you know how to play your cards right. Don't get caught up in your little ego. Instead, focus on making a genuine connection and showing them why they should give you a chance. For centuries, men have been trying to woo women with various tactics and strategies. Some have been successful, while others have absolutely failed miserably. The art of seduction is like a dance. It takes two people, two partners, to create something beautiful. But most men don't know how to dance. They stumble, they step on toes, and they end up alone on the dance floor. Similarly, when it comes to seduction, most men lack the knowledge and skills to succeed. They make common mistakes, such as coming on too strong, being too passive, or not reading the signals that women give off. This has led to a crisis of masculinity, where men feel lost and uncertain of how to navigate the complex world of dating and relationships. But it doesn't have to be that way. By learning the scientifically proven tricks to get any girl's attention, men can improve their chances of success and regain their confidence. Own the room around you. To get a girl's attention, you need to stand out from the crowd. But that doesn't mean you need to do something outrageous or over the top. Instead, you need to own the room around you. What does this mean? It means being confident in yourself and your surroundings. It means holding your head up high, standing up straight, and walking with purpose. It means being the guy that everyone wants to talk to because he just exudes confidence and charisma. By owning the room, you'll allow her to notice you without even having to approach her. It sets you apart from the other guys who are too nervous or too shy to command attention. And it's a powerful way to make a lasting first impression. Think about it. When you walk into a room, do you want to be the guy who slinks into the corner and hopes no one notices him? Or do you want to be the guy who walks in and instantly commands attention? The answer is obvious. So, stand tall, take up space, and own the room around you. It's the first step in getting a girl's attention. Make and don't break eye contact without approaching her. Eye contact is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication. When you make eye contact with someone, it shows that you are confident, you're interested, and you're engaged. But it's not just about making eye contact. It's also about not breaking it. When you break eye contact, it shows that you're nervous or not confident. It can also make you seem uninterested or distracted. So when you're in a room with a girl that you're interested in, make eye contact with her and don't break it. Unless you absolutely have to, obviously. This will show her that you're confident and interested. And it'll make you stand out from the other guys who are too nervous to make eye contact. But here's the catch. Don't approach her just yet. Instead, hold the eye contact and let that tension build. Let her wonder who you are and why you're looking at her. This is a powerful way to pique her interest and make her know that you're interested and she's gonna want more. Act uninterested. It probably seems counterintuitive, but acting uninterested can actually be a very powerful way to get a girl's attention. When you act uninterested, it shows that you're not needy or desperate. It also makes her wonder why you're not giving her attention that she's used to getting from other guys. But there's a fine line between acting uninterested and being a jerk. You don't want to completely ignore her or be rude. Instead, you want to strike a balance between showing some interest and not giving her everything she wants. Imagine this scenario. You might engage in conversation with her, but not give her your full attention. You might instead tease her or challenge her a little bit. The goal is to keep her on her toes and make her wonder why you're not falling over her like other guys. Don't be predictable. Being predictable is a surefire way to lose a girl's interest. If you're always doing the same thing, saying the same thing, using the same cheesy pickup line, or going to the same places, she'll quickly lose interest in you. You become the herd, meaning you're indistinguishable from the rest. To get a girl's attention, you want her to think, he's not like other guys. Don't make things easy for her. Don't make each day the same. Don't be afraid to mix things up and keep her guessing. Think outside the box, man. This, in the end, is a game. If you're being superficial, odds are she's been tried before by another dude who might now be using the same technique on a different girl and expecting the same results. But truth be told, everyone's different. The world is unpredictable, so why shouldn't you be? Let her know her flaws. Again, might sound counterintuitive, but it's important to let a girl know her flaws. Girls are used to hearing compliments all the time, and while compliments are nice, they don't always leave a lasting impression. But if you can identify something she needs to work on and offer constructive criticism, it will show her that you're paying attention and you're not afraid to speak your mind. Of course, you don't want to be too harsh or critical. That can be a massive turnoff. Be gentle, tactful. Make sure you're offering feedback that will eventually help her improve. For example, if she's always interrupting people when they're talking, you could say something like, "I've noticed that you tend to interrupt people a lot. Maybe you could try listening more and letting other people finish their thoughts before jumping in." This will show her that you're paying attention, and it'll give her something to work on to become a better person. Allow her to feel left out. If you're struggling to get a girl's attention, then one unconventional approach is to make her feel left out. It might seem counterintuitive, but trust me, it works. One way to do this is by acting nice to everyone around, but intentionally ignoring her. Girls are quick to pick up on these subtle social cues, and if she feels left out, she won't like it. When she sees that you're interacting with everyone around you, but not involving her, she'll start to wonder why. This curiosity can create a powerful desire to seek your attention and approval. Of course, you don't want to overdo it and make her feel just ignored or excluded. The goal is to make her feel just a little bit left out, so she starts to crave your attention. This one is tricky, so it's best with an example. If you're at a party or a social event, make sure to engage with other people and have fun. Laugh and joke with others, but don't go out of your way to talk to her or include her in your conversations. Eventually, she'll start to notice your presence and wonder why you haven't talked to her yet, alone. This curiosity will make her more receptive to your approach when you do finally decide to talk to her. Another way to allow her to feel left out is to mention things in your conversation that exclude her. For instance, you might talk about a hobby or an interest that you have and she doesn't. This will make her feel like she's not in on the conversation and create a desire to learn more about you. Remember, the key is to strike a balance between making her feel left out and not completely ignoring her. You want to create curiosity and desire, not make her feel excluded and unimportant. So, getting a girl's attention requires a certain level of creativity and finesse. By owning a room, allowing her to notice you, making and maintaining eye contact, acting uninterested, stirring jealousy, not being predictable, and letting her know your flaws, you can increase your chances of getting the girl that you want. So don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and try something new. It's a harsh reality that society is filled with distractions and temptations that can lead men astray. The constant bombardment of sexual imagery through porn and social media has led to a generation of men who are struggling to connect with women on a deeper level. This addiction to instant gratification and superficial pleasure has destroyed masculinity and left men feeling empty and unfulfilled. But there is hope. Men can break free from these destructive patterns and reclaim their masculinity. It's a journey that requires self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to be vulnerable. But for those who are willing to take that journey, the rewards are immeasurable. This video is not about searching for masculinity, but rather, it is about helping men understand the differences. It's about helping men understand the attitudes and approaches that lead to true success in attracting women. It's about the cold, hard truths that men need to hear in order to become the men that they were meant to be. A playboy is a man who is primarily focused on pleasure and instant gratification. He's often seen as charming and charismatic, but his intentions are often self-serving. He is a master at playing the game of seduction, but his relationships are shallow and superficial. He's addicted to the thrill of the chase, but he never truly commits to a woman. On the other hand, the lover boy is a man who's focused on building deep and meaningful connections with women. He's driven by a desire to understand and appreciate the unique qualities of each woman that he encounters. He's not interested in playing games or manipulating women. Instead, he's genuinely interested in getting to know them on a deeper level. He's willing to be vulnerable and open with his emotions, and he's committed to building lasting relationships. So, men, the question is, which one do you want to be? A playboy who's always chasing the next thrill, or a lover boy who's building something real and lasting? Being a playboy may seem like the easy path. It's exciting, it's thrilling, and it can be incredibly satisfying in the moment. But make no mistake, it comes with a heavy price. As the great philosopher Aristotle once said, pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. And while it may seem like a playboy's life is full of pleasure, the truth is, it's a never-ending cycle of emptiness and unfulfillment. Being a playboy means constantly having to hide your true self. It means always being on guard, always trying to impress, always trying to manipulate. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, and it's exhausting. It's like trying to fill a bottomless pit with superficial pleasure, and it will never be enough. It's a path that leads to loneliness, emptiness, and unfulfillment. It also means constantly living in fear of being found out, fear of being rejected, fear of being alone, fear of being exposed. Just like trying to walk on a tightrope, one false step and you fall. It's a path that leads to a life of constant anxiety and stress. And let's not forget about the women. Being a playboy means using and manipulating women for your own pleasure. It means treating them like objects and discarding them when you're done. It's like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. It'll only make you more thirsty. This path leads to a lifetime of guilt and shame. Oscar Wilde once said, "The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it." The temptation of being a playboy may be hard to resist, but remember, the true measure of a man is not how much pleasure he can find, but how much he can give. So, men, be honest with yourselves. Is the thrill of the chase really worth it? Is it worth sacrificing your integrity, your self-worth, and your relationships? Men, being a lover boy may not seem as exciting or thrilling as being a playboy, but it is the path that leads to true success and fulfillment. As the ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. And when it comes to relationships, being a lover boy means having few wants and focusing on building genuine connections. Being a lover boy means being true and authentic. Like a breath of fresh air, it may be uncomfortable at first, but it will ultimately lead to deeper and more meaningful relationships that leads to genuine love and connection. It also means being a true partner to the women in your life. It means understanding and appreciating their unique qualities and being committed to building a lasting relationship. Fine wine may take time to mature, but it will be worth the wait. And let's not forget about the personal growth. Being a lover boy means constantly striving to improve yourself and become the best version of yourself. It's a long journey, but a worthy one. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along, Rumi said. Being a lover boy means being open to the possibility of true love and being ready for it when it comes. Understanding the difference between being a playboy and a lover boy is one thing, but actually becoming a lover boy is another. It takes work, commitment, and a willingness to change, but the rewards are worth it. Here are some practical steps that you could take to start your journey to becoming a lover boy. Step 1. Start by being honest with yourself. Take a hard look at your behavior and your intentions. Are you truly interested in building genuine connections with women? Or are you just trying to get the next thrill? This step is crucial because it's impossible to change something if you don't first acknowledge it. Be honest with yourself about what you want and what you're currently doing, and this will be the first step towards making a change. Step 2. Develop a deeper understanding of women. One of the key aspects of being a lover boy is understanding the needs, the wants, and the perspectives of women. This step requires you to educate yourself, read books, listen to podcasts, and talk to women. By taking the time to understand women, you'll be able to build deeper connections with them. Step 3. Work on yourself. Becoming a lover boy is not just about understanding women. It's also about becoming the best version of yourself. Improve your physical and mental health, and develop your talents and skills. Strive to become a well-rounded individual. As the famous philosopher Confucius said, "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." This step is a continuous process. It takes time and effort. Step 4. Be open to vulnerability. Being a lover boy means being open to vulnerability, and that can be scary. But it's necessary for building deep and meaningful connections. Learn to be open and honest with your emotions, and practice active listening. Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. Do not be afraid of vulnerability. Embrace it. Step 5. Practice self-discipline. Building lasting relationships takes self-discipline. Learn to control your impulses. Napoleon Hill put it very well by saying, "Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts." Men, becoming a lover boy is a choice. It's a decision to take control of your life and to become the best version of yourself. Start today, and you'll be on your way to building genuine connections and fulfilling relationships. We have covered a lot of ground on this video. We've talked about the difference between being a lover boy and a playboy, the consequences of being a playboy, the benefits of being a lover boy, and the practical steps to become a lover boy. But it all comes down to one question. What kind of man do you want to be? Do you want to be a man who's constantly chasing superficial pleasure and fleeting thrills? Or do you want to be a man who's building deep and meaningful connections with women or men? The choice is yours. It's up to you to decide what kind of man you want to be. But remember, as the famous philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Do not let society dictate who you should be. Be true to yourself and be the kind of man that you want to be. So, men, take the first step. Be honest with yourself. Develop a deeper understanding of women. Work on yourself. Be open to vulnerability. Practice self-discipline and become a lover boy. You'll be on your way to building genuine connections, fulfilling relationships, and, again, becoming the best version of you.